Evolution of computer. What is a computer? Computer is a device that transforms data into meaningful information. Data can be anything like marks obtained by you in various subjects. Computer can also be defined in terms of functions it can perform. These are: it accepts data or instruction by way of input. It stores data. It can process data as required by the user. It gives results in the form of output. It controls all operations inside a computer. Following are the main 5 generations of computers. First generation, the period of first generation, 1946 to 1959. Vacuum tube-based second generation, the period of second generation, 1959 to 1965. Transistor-based third generation, the period of third generation, 1965 to 1971. Integrated circuit-based fourth generation, the period of fourth generation, 1971 to 1980. VLS microprocessor-based fifth generation, the period of fifth generation, 1980 onwards. ULSI microprocessor-based first generation, 1946 to 1959. First generation of computers started with using vacuum tubes as the basic components for memory and circuitry for CPU, central processing unit. These tubes, like electric bulbs, produced a lot of heat and were prone to frequent fusing of the installations, therefore were very expensive and could be afforded only by very large organizations. In this generation, mainly batch processing operating systems were used. In this generation, punched cards, paper tape, magnetic tape input and output device were used. There were machine codes and electric wired board languages used. The main features of first generation are VNR tube technology, unreliable, supported machine language only, very cost L, generate lot of heat, slow input-output device. Huge size, need of AC, non-portable, consumed lot of electricity. Some computers of this generation were ENIAC EDVAC UNIVAC IBM 701 IBM 650. Second generation, 1959 to 1965. This generation, using the transistor, were cheaper, consumed less power, more compact in size, more reliable and faster than the first generation machines made of vacuum tubes. In this generation, magnetic cores were used as primary memory and magnetic tape and magnetic disks as secondary storage devices. In this generation, assembly language and high-level programming language like Fortran, COBOL were used. There were batch processing and multi-programming operating system used. The main features of second generation are use of transistors. Reliable as compared to first generation computers, smaller size as compared to first generation computers, generate less heat as compared to first generation computers, consumed less electricity as compared to first generation computers, faster than first generation computers, still very costly, AC needed, consumed lesser electricity, support high-level language. Some computers of this generation were IBM 1620, IBM 7094, CDC 1604, CDC 3600, UNIVAC 1108. 1965 to 1971, the third generation of computer is marked by the use of integrated circuits, ICs, in place of transistors. A single IC has many transistors, resistors and capacitors along with the associated circuitry. The IC was invented by Jack Kilby. This development made computers smaller in size, reliable and efficient. In this generation, remote processing, time sharing, real-time, multi-programming operating system were used. High-level language, Fortran 2 to IV, COBOL, Pascal Place 1, Basic, Algol 68, etc. were used during this generation. The main features of third generation are IC used more reliable smaller size, generate less heat faster, lesser maintenance still costly AC needed consumed lesser electricity support high-level language. Some computers of this generation were IBM 360 series Honeywell 6000 series PDP Personal Data Processor IBM 370 168 TDC 316. Fourth generation, 1970 to 1990, the microprocessor brought the fourth generation of computers, as thousands of integrated circuits were built onto a single silicon chip. What in the first generation filled an entire room could now fit in the palm of the hand. The Intel 4004 chip, developed in 1971, located all the components of the computer from the central processing unit D memory to input-output controls on a single chip. In 1981, IBM introduced its first computer for the home user, and in 1984 Apple introduced the Macintosh. Microprocessors also moved out of the realm of desktop computers and into many areas of life as more and more everyday products began to use microprocessors. As these small computers became more powerful, they could be linked together to form networks, which eventually led to the development of the Internet. Fourth generation computers also saw the development of GUIs, the mouse and handheld devices. Fifth generation 1990 present fifth generation computing devices based on artificial intelligence are still in development, though there are some applications, such as voice recognition, that are being used today. The use of parallel processing and superconductors is helping to make artificial intelligence a reality. Quantum computation and molecular and nanotechnology will radically change the face of computers in years to come. The goal of fifth-generation computing is to develop devices that respond to natural language input and are capable of learning and self-organization. Transformation of computers, smartphones, technology on the go, tablets, computers in hand, smartwatch, because phone and tablet are too heavy now. A glimpse into what the future might look like: computers that can be worn as wristwatch, controlling computer functions by thought, quantum computing. Thank you.